warmer, a nice breeze coming through to keep things comfortable. The track is fast, sunny skies. It's an ideal day for some great harness racing action. And welcome to the desk here on the patio at Hanover Raceway, and welcome back to Cosa-Tv. My name is Mark McKelvey, and to my left, joining me on the desk here today is Tony Elliott. Greg Blanchard is along with us. We'll check in with him in just a couple of moments. But Tony, the Balanced Image, one of two signature events each season here at Hanover Raceway. The Dream of Glory went a few weeks ago. Now we're here for the Balanced Image, and those two races seem to always tie together. We're going to focus on the 2-year-old trotters today. The Dream of Glory, of course, focuses on the 3-year-old trotters, but very, very often you will see horses from one year come back to the next.
Yeah, it's pretty rare for them to do the double, but it does happen. I think it's happened a couple times before, and it's certainly a good stepping block for these 2-year-olds. Just it's a little bit easier than stepping up against the Grand Circuit, but it certainly is a good spot for them to start and kind of build on their career. And like you mentioned, come back next year and race in another $50,000 final. You make some good money right here at Hanover Raceway. Yeah, we'll go for $45,000 here today in the Balanced Image final. It's a good-looking field that will line up of Ontario-sired 2-year-old trotters, so we're looking forward to that. But that's just one of several races we'll be bringing to you here today on Cosa-Tv. As always, when you tune in, you have an opportunity to win, and we want to hear from you. Just leave us a comment. Doesn't matter if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. Leave us a comment with where you are watching from today. Maybe give a special shout out to somebody. We'll read those as the afternoon go along, and at the end of the show, we will randomly select from one of our commenters a winner, and they will take home a Cosa-Tv prize pack. But Tony, we got a lot coming up here today. One race just in the books over our shoulders as we're getting to the back half of this Saturday afternoon program. And for a little more on what we've got coming up here today, it's time to check in with Greg Blanchard. We got him off the desk. He's over at the paddock here this afternoon.
All right. Thank you very much, guys. Yes, the wonderful paddock location here at beautiful Hanover Raceway. A fun place to be today. A real buzz over here as we get ready for the main events coming up. A great 5-pack for you today as we take a look at what our coverage will entail. We kick it off with the Gail Murray Invitational Pace right off the bat. A good one. Full field of 8 in race 6. A couple of non-winners events in races 7 and 8. And then we'll set the stage for the main event over in race number 9 with the Walker Memorial Invitational Trot. What a field assembled this year, and the main event, as promised, $45,000 on the line in this year's edition of the Balanced Image. Some of the best 2-year-old Ontario-sired trotters competing over in that one. Who knows, they could threaten some records here this afternoon. We'll talk more about that and much, much more after this commercial break.
Winback Farm of Delaware is home to 8 exceptional stallions. New in 2024, Nutcracker Sweet, a full brother to Double Millionaire Better Sweet and half brother to the Great Sweet Lou. World Champion He's Watching, a proven sire of stakes winners, including Double Millionaire Tattoo Artist, Sports Column, an Ontario Sire Stakes star, and a 19-time winner. Top Flight Angel won the Orchestra Final and is a multiple New York Sire Stakes champion. Also standing, Badlands Hanover, Classic Card Shark, Glide Master, and Ronnie's Bags Again. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
The London Classic Yearling Sale, Canada's premier standardbred auction, returns October 15th and 16th to the Western Fair District Agriplex. Recent London sales standouts include O'Brien Award winners and millionaire performers, Logan Park, Fashion Frenzy, and Stockade Sealster. Leading North American consigners and yearlings by the sport's top sires, all under one roof in a world-class facility. Find your next champion at the London Classic Yearling Sale. Find out more by visiting londonclassic.ca.
Aaron Ruth coming on fourth. 3/4, 29-1. Rival Sealster kicking out at 29-1. Third quarter has a 4-length lead coming into the stretch. The only one with a shot to catch him is Crowning Crest. Crowning Crest getting closer, but Rival Sealster. Lauren House looks over the right shoulder, and he's home free. Rival Sealster, powerful winner in the Balanced Image Final.
As always, we love to go down memory lane back to 2013 when rival Sealster and Lorne House won the Balanced Image, and that was Greg Blanchard on the call. We'll go back to Greg in just a couple of moments. There's a look at the Ontario Sire Stakes tent. They are on a bit of a traveling roadshow this season as they celebrate the 50th anniversary of the OSS, and it's nice to get out to all the tracks, Tony. We love to travel around the province, and they're doing a great job showcasing what I consider the best Sire Stakes program in the game all season long across the province.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's great to showcase the great Sire Stakes program we even have here in Ontario, and obviously they're doing a great job showing it off, and just another compliment to the program here with the Balanced Image later on with 2-year-old Ontario Sire Colts and fillies.
Well, there was Lori McKelvey there. I know she's a dedicated viewer of Cosa-Tv. She'll have to
fan.
watch this one a little bit later on, I guess. All right, let's go back to the paddock as Greg Blanchard is standing by with a special guest.
All right, thanks again, guys. Todd Ratchford, a name that we're hearing more and more of here in recent weeks, and he's got a busy lineup today, starting with Sportsline here in this upcoming invitational pace. Todd, a horse that you drove 2 back at Woodbine, raced really well that day. What did you learn about him on that occasion?
He's just a nice old classy horse. You can really do anything with him. I mean, with the 8-hole today, it's a little tough, but hopefully there's one that we can follow that can get out of there, and we'll try to push as much as we can.
Let's get a thought on First Class Rule. It's going to be a nice drive for you today in the main event, the Balanced Image Trot. Talk about his elimination effort. I think it was the second or third time you'd sat behind him.
Yeah. It's one of Matt Bax's. I've driven him a couple times at Mohawk too, and he had a couple braking issues. We got that figured out, hopefully, knock on wood. But he's just a nice colt. He's well gated. For his size, he can get around any size track. So hopefully we can have a little bit of luck and get the job done.
And you've got some added familiarity with him as well, right?
Yeah.
Is that, a bit of an advantage for you today, or certainly something that gives you more confidence in him?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you sit behind any horse consistently, you get a feel for them, their quirks and stuff like that. So, and I've driven a couple horses in that race too, so I think I have a pretty good advantage going into the 10th race today.
And kind of a breakout season for you, I would say, this year. We're seeing your name listed more and more as the weeks go on. Maybe just a quick, background on you for people that don't know your name, and sort of how you got into it and what your ultimate goals are.
Well, I got into it with my family on both sides. Horse racing's deep in the blood. Both my mom and dad's side come from horse racing. So, it was only a matter of time before I found myself in it. But yeah, I've been driving for almost 2 years now. It's going way better than I expected. I can't thank enough the trainers and the owners for giving me the opportunity. But yeah, it's been a ride so far, and keep it going.
Is driving the ultimate goal?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. Everyone wants to be a Mohawk guy and be a regular there, or be a big stakes driver, and hopefully I believe myself, and I think I can do it.
All right. Well, you've got lots of opportunities today. I want to wish you good luck.
All right, well, thank you very much.
All right. Todd Ratchford taking a couple of minutes to join us, guys. He's going to catch his drive here, Sportsline, in the upcoming Gail Murray Invitational Pace.
Well, thank you very much, Greg, and I've been saying it all season long. I think Todd Ratchford has a ton of potential. He talks about what his ultimate goals are there, and I think it is just a matter of time. But in what you would call his second season of driving, he is on his way to $1 million season, $729,000 plus in earnings, 70 wins already, batting .227. He's having a really nice go, getting an opportunity to drive young horses, and I think we all know that it takes a certain type of driver, and a lot of times, a lot of young drivers maybe don't get along with the young horses. I think Todd's doing a nice job.
Yeah, he seems to be have a great head on his shoulders. He seems to be able to understand what he needs to do with the young horses to teach them how to race, and then he certainly can make speed just as well as the rest of them. But I think it's just a testament that some of the regular drivers at Mohawk are starting to recognize his abilities, and certainly are complimenting him on it.
Well, we're not going to look at the young horses here in the Gail Murray Invitational because this is an invite pace for a purse of $10,000. There's a look at the field of 8 that's going to line up, and what I love here is we've got some mares that are going to take on the boys, including the horse I expect to be the favorite here, that being Gia Surreal.
Yeah, she certainly deserves to be the favorite here, and I believe she's even money as we speak. And she's shown a ton of ability in her career, obviously passing $1 million. For a mare to do that is certainly incredible, and she certainly had a bit of a slow this year. Certainly still put away $54,000 in the bank, and she loves the half-mile track. Obviously, has won the Forest City Pace in London, and she did an almost track record time there. So she comes back to somewhere where she should do very, very well.
And she's faced the boys before. I know she's done it at Mohawk before as well on a half-mile track. I believe she went to the Kane Invitational Pace at Batavia one year. She's now 8 years old, over $1 million in the bank for her ownership group of James Graham, and along with Edward Perrin and Lee Winters. Don Lindsay's done a great job with her, and Bob McClure has been her usual driver. They're going to team up once again here today. She looks like the class of the field, and there's a good look at the talented Gia's Surreal. So a field of 8 going to make their way onto the track for race number 6. This race in honor of Gail Murray. You know Gail so well. She does so much here. Always nice on this day to recognize her contributions to Hanover Raceway.
Yeah, it's certainly special for me for Gail to get the recognition. There's a lot of people at a lot of tracks across Ontario that have put in many, many years, but Gail's been here for 36 years, and if you talk to her, she doesn't sound like she's slowing down anytime soon. She just loves Hanover Raceway, and she loves the sport, and she's dedicated her life to it, and that's certainly something worth recognizing.
Absolutely. You need those unsung heroes, and it's good that we can take an opportunity to recognize them, in this case, that being Gail Murray. She'll be out in the winner's circle for the presentation to the winner of the Gail Murray Invitational, as the older Pacers are stepping out onto the track for our first of 5 races here today on Cosa-Tv. So we'll kick things off in just a moment. There is a look at number 1, 'Cause I'm Special. 6-year-old mare trained by Shane Barrington. Trevor Henry will drive. 3 wins in 19 starts this season. 17 career wins, a mark of 151, and is just shy of $200,000 in career earnings. Number 2, It Takes Two. Lauren House will drive for trainer Scott McNiven. A 9-time winner this year, matches the 9 wins last season. So an 18-time winner with a mark of 151 and 2. Number 3, Gia's Surreal. The Millionaires is trained by Don Lindsay. Bob McClure driving. 36-time winner with a mark of 149 and 3. Next up, we'll look at number 4, I'll Get My Own Thanks, trained by Dale Fritz. Anthony Hahn will drive. 18-time winner, $168,000 in earnings, a half-mile specialist, 2 wins this season. Middle of the gate will be number 5, Faded Fire. Jay Harris will drive for trainer Pam Forgy. 4 wins this season from 21 starts, had 4 wins last year. This, a 4-year-old mare, is a 10-time winner for her career. She has a mark of 151 and 3. The number 6 is Harper's Hat Trick. Jason Ryan will drive for owner-trainer Chris Haskell. 5 wins this season, 24-time winner. Most recently raced at Woodbine Mohawk Park, but 2 back won the Preferred 3 right here at Hanover. Number 7, He's a Handyman. Mike Horner trains and drives. Mark Horner owns. 5 wins this season after a 7-win campaign in 2023. 32-time winner is the 7-year-old gelding. And the final horse we'll meet is number 8, Sportsline. He's got a ton of speed. He has a mark of 149 and 3. 30-time winner. Todd Ratchford will drive for trainer Patrick Bissett. 2 wins this season in 8 starts, but has hit the board in 7 of those 8 tries. So there's the field for the Gail Murray Invitational on this special afternoon here at Hanover Raceway. A ton of history here at Hanover Raceway. It's one of my favorite tracks. I grew up as a kid coming to this spot. Very close to home for you, and really got your start in harness racing right here, Tony. But this is a place, ton of history, one of the original tracks to host the OSS, so fitting that we're honoring the 50th anniversary of that. Nighttime racing going back to the 60s, well before you and I were born, but definitely wish I could have seen that. And so many legendary families in Ontario and Canadian harness racing, the Walkers, the Fritz, the McNairs, and we'll honor the Walker family in just a little bit. But for you, Tony, talk about some of your earliest memories growing up coming here to Hanover Raceway. And as I mentioned, you were working here just a few years ago. This place is really special to you.
Yeah, it certainly is, and like you mentioned, I got my start here, and obviously it's very close to my heart. Growing up just 10 minutes away from here, it's something we visited frequently as a kid, and I think everyone remembers the Dream of Glory, and we've certainly attended quite a few of them over the years, and obviously it was just a few weeks ago here, and just the fireworks and the atmosphere of a night like that, it was like it was always packed, and it was always what you always remembered racing at Hanover Raceway to be.
I always remember coming here Wednesdays and Saturday nights. That's when they would race when I was a youngster growing up. And then, of course, down to 1 day a week through the summer months. And during COVID, shifted to an afternoon post. And obviously that helps on a day like today because you get some of the Woodbine Mohawk Park drivers that can make the trip here. Of course, there's lots of stake races at the Campbellville Oval coming up tonight. So if they were going head-to-head, they couldn't necessarily be here. But a few weeks back for the Dream of Glory, that is their lone night card of the season. And they just packed it in here, fireworks. And this is obviously, it kind of becomes a community event, so to speak.
Yeah, and that's the big thing with the small tracks here in Ontario. Everyone rallies around them for their summer meets. Like anywhere from 10 to 15 days a year. They always rally around, and similar at Clinton Raceway on Sundays, that's the place to be on Sunday afternoons, and same here at Hanover Raceway on Saturday afternoons. It's just something for the whole family, and anybody of any age can enjoy it.
And the charity aspect, I know Clinton does that so well every Sunday afternoon, and as well here on Saturdays up at Hanover. They always tie it into a charity. Today, raising funds for the Grey Bruce Hospice, the Chapman House. That's a place near and dear to my heart, so great to see them raising funds here this afternoon. So we're getting set for race number 6, the Gail Murray Invitational. A lot of attention to number 3, Gia Surreal, but let's talk about somebody else. Where do you want to go here, Tony?
I think It Takes Two is certainly somebody that you have to keep an eye on. With position 2, Lauren House, he's certainly going to be placing this one up near the pace, if not on the lead, and it's certainly going to be a charge in the first turn to see who gets the early position, because if you can make the lead here, especially it seems like today, if you can make the lead, you're certainly in the spot that you want to be, and I think he might just be a step behind Gia Surreal, but I think whoever makes the top is going to be the one that wins the race.
And that's it. We've seen a lot of good miles here already today. 3-year-old pacing fillies were in town for some OSS grassroots action. The most recent division going in 156 and a piece. Saw 27 and 4 third quarter in that race. So they've done some racing up front, and I expect there's going to be a lot of action in this contest. There's a look at Sportsline, and we heard the comments from Todd Ratchford. Well, with a better draw, whether you got the 1 or the 2, I think this one would have been a major threat.
Yeah, I think so too. And you're getting 6-1 on this 8-year-old horse. He certainly has some back class to him. Mark of 49.3 and 30 wins. There's not many horses in racing that have 30 wins or more, and he seems to be rounding into form. Like they just, like, as they get older, they kind of need a few starts to get back. But a hot day like today, the joints get loosened up and they seem to be able to put on a show. And I think there's a very good possibility if he can get close to the pace.
And he always goes forward, so it'll be interesting to see what Todd Ratchford can map out here today to try and get around, because here's a horse in his last 5 starts. He's been on the lead at the quarter in 4 of those 5, and the only time that he wasn't, he was parked out just outside of the leader, and that was at Woodbine Mohawk Park. So I think Sportsline definitely could be a threat. One you got to definitely consider if you want to throw in underneath. For me, I think it's Gia Surreal's race to lose here. She is the class of the field. She's faced some of the top mares in the sport over the years. She's raced in big-time Grand Circuit events. Now comes here to Hanover, and I think the Connections would love to get a nice victory. But one other horse I did want to touch on is the rail starter, 'Cause I'm Special, who's been a Woodbine Mohawk Park regular. Hasn't been to the winner's circle in her last 5. But again, one that's got plenty of talent, and I think would stack up well against Gia Surreal. She's been racing a little bit lower than her, but I wouldn't be surprised if later this year she gets back to similar levels.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think she's quite there just yet, but 27 and 4 on the end of it in her last start. I think she's starting to get back to where she does her best work, and it wouldn't be a huge surprise if she was in the top 3 or even made a run at the lead here.
All right, here we go. It's the Gail Murray Invitational, our first race of live coverage today on Cosa-Tv. Should be a good one to kick things off. Time to check in with the track announcer here at Hanover Raceway, Rick Ryer.
To a wonderful woman, the Gail Murray Invitational. They're at the top of the stretch, and here they come. They're up and pacing. Gia Surreal fires out from the inside, 'Cause I'm Special. Leaving as well to that first turn, Bob McClure will cross over with Gia Surreal. 'Cause I'm Special will pocket up early. Sportsline right on that helmet from 3rd. Settling away from 4th, that's I'll Get My Own Thanks. It Takes 2 from 5th. Early in 6th, Faded Fire, then Harper's Hat Trick, and He's a Handyman as they move by the opening quarter, and Bob McClure looking to get a breather in. 28 and 3, Gia's Surreal. Up front, $1 million winner, and she fronts his field on the far turn. 'Cause I'm Special enjoys that pocket. Sportsline right there from 3rd. Looking at it in 4th, the Sportsline has a little peek to the outside. 4th, I'll Get My Own Thanks will take that cover and flushes him. It Takes 2, 5th. Saving ground 6th, Faded Fire by the half. 59 flat, then we're back. They race on that turn, Faded Fire, and He's a Handyman. But Gia's Surreal had a breather in, now brushing alongside. Sportsline puts in that challenge from 2nd. 'Cause I'm Special is there in 3rd. It Takes 2 is 4th. Along the inside from 5th. As they move by 3/4, Harper's hat trick, 3/4, they're stepping it. 1:26 and 4. Far turn, Gia Surreal. Outside Sports Line, 'Cause I'm Special, trying to stay with them from third. Then Harper's hat trick. I'll get my own thanks, top of the lane. Gia Surreal looking to the inside, 'Cause I'm Special. Outside Sports Line, digging in. Sports Line, Gia Surreal the best. Sports Line second, 'Cause I'm Special third. Mile 1:55 and 1. Gia Surreal just a fifth of a second off the track record.
1:55 and 1 the final time as Gia Surreal digs in to hold off Sports Line. A good battle in the back half between these two. Gia's Surreal, though, keeps that head out in front to secure the victory. Showed her class here today, but that was a real good tilt.
Yeah, just two warriors battling out down the stretch. It was kind of how we figured it'd map out, like, 'Cause I'm Special getting away in third there, following out,
Sports Line got away
Line,
there in
yeah.
third from, following along at the rail there. And it ended up working out. We thought that's one that's got to go forward. And instead, it showed its grit and determination having to grind first up.
Yeah, I think that was just an impressive effort coming first up. The speed seems to be holding up on the lead here today, and as it always does. But it was just quite the battle coming down the stretch, and it was great entertainment for the fans.
Awesome look at it in slow motion as they're coming down the wire. Right here, you'll see that Gia Surreal, she almost actually kind of sticks her head out a little bit, just maybe about 50 meters from the wire, or a little less than that. She wanted that victory, and she showed it as she gets her 37th career score, winning it in 1:55 and 1. I talked about a little earlier in the card, we saw a 27 and 4 third quarter. Well, we just saw it again. 59 to the half. I mean, Bob McClure had them really back down there and knew he was just going to turn it into a late sprint. Instead, that sprint, though, became the entire back half as Sportsline came hard after it. And those two, again, I mean, the fact they are only separated by about half a head there, credit to both horses because they really, really squared off going to 3/4.
Yeah, Bob really had the field in the palm of his hand there with the soft half there in 59, and then, like you mentioned, they sprinted to 3/4. But I don't think Bob probably necessarily thought that Sportsline would have came up and just beat him by a head because he just raced incredible there. But I think Bob would be certainly happy with the efforts of his mare. Obviously, getting the win, he'll be a little happier. But just showing her class, digging in right down to the wire there to beat another impressive aged horse.
All right, so it was Gia Surreal that takes the Gail Murray Invitational. Kind of fitting that it's the mare that wins this event. Gail will be out in the winner's circle as you get a look at the top four finishers there. Second was the 8 Sports Line. 'Cause I'm Special, one that I thought just based on the draw and her ability, she would be right in the hunt, and she does finish third, and then rounded out that top four by number 5, Faded Fire, one we didn't really talk a whole lot about going into the race, maybe flying a little under the radar. Going to pick up a 4th place finish, so it's going to be 3-8-1-5, your unofficial top 4. Talk about Bob McClure. We'll get into him a little bit more as we get closer to the balanced image, but here's a driver that cut his teeth at Hanover Raceway, and he's always shouting it out whenever he's asked what some of his favorite places to race. This is one of them.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a place close to his heart. He's always come back for all the big races here, Grassroots, Dream of Glory, Balanced Image. He doesn't miss a day here just because it's such a special place for him, and he just loves coming here. He brings the whole family out, and obviously this is just kind of heating up the hands for a big night at Mohawk tonight, hopefully.
Yes, and on an afternoon like today, I don't think it hurts to get a little racing under your belt ahead of some big-time events coming up tonight at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Of course, Bob McClure, one of the best in the game, and going to give it a few high fives as he comes down the rail. They used to call this lawn chair lane. Not as many lawn chairs as there once was along here, more picnic tables now, but I always loved that, the lawn chairs. Everybody would bring them out at Hanover Raceway as Gia Surreal is going to enter the winner's circle now as this 8-year-old daughter of So Surreal gets career win number 37. As I mentioned, she went over $1 million in earnings just several weeks back at Woodbine Mohawk Park. Second win this year, so it's been I don't want to say a tough go. She's had to battle this year, maybe not at the top of her game as she once was, but she's still pretty dang talented, and a nice group on hand in the winner's circle, including Gail Murray. All right, let's take a look now at the prices from race number 6, the Gail Murray Invitational. As number 3, Gia Surreal pays $373, $260. 8 Sportsline, $540, $360. And the 1 'Cause I'm Special, $270. That's exact. I think we were all over it, and hopefully you were too. $25.40 is what it pays for a $2 winning ticket, and the Super for 20 cents there, just over $50.50. So we'll roll on this Saturday afternoon from Hanover Raceway as we'll get to some of the meat and potatoes action coming up over the course of our next 2 races, and we'll also get set for our main event, the Balanced Image. Don't go anywhere. Live from Hanover Raceway, this is Cosa-Tv.
By now, you know the name Cosa-Tv, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. Cosa-Tv has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. Cosa-Tv, taking Ontario racing global.
Love horse racing? hpibet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with hpibet.com.
Opens up 3 lengths on the bottom turn. From second is Die Hard Sealster. Time All Chrome is third. He's in contention fourth. Petro Dealin is right now fifth. But Sweet Soul David, Denny St. Pierre. That one's for David. Sweet Soul David, Denny St. Pierre gets the job done.
It was an emotional afternoon back in 2020 when Sweet Soul David and Denny St. Pierre won the Balanced Image, taking us back to some of the early days of Cosa-Tv. Well, welcome back to the desk once again. Mark McKelvey and Tony Elliott with you. And Tony, we're rolling on this Saturday afternoon. Pretty nice conditions, bit of a breeze coming through, making things very comfortable as we're getting closer to the Balanced Image. And Hanover Raceway, the Balanced Image, and Mark Etzel, they all just seem to go hand in hand.
Yeah, they certainly do. It's anytime you mention Hanover Raceway, you have to mention Mark Etzel, and I think that's important to note. That is just where he's kind of got his start, similar to Bob McClure, and a lot of people have gotten their start here at Hanover Raceway and gone on to do big things, like Scott Zera and Scott Young. I should mention Scott Young, obviously a big Dream of Glory winner here. He's also, he would tell you he win the Wellwood. And the second thing he would mention is he also drove the all-time fastest mile here at Hanover Raceway, 153, Secret Weapon. So just some fun facts for you there.
Full of fun facts is Tony Elliott, and as we mentioned, Mark Etzel, he's had some fun moments here at Hanover Raceway, and he's hoping to add to that here today in the Balanced Image. We caught up with him a little bit earlier this week.
Hi, I'm Mark Etzel. I've got 2 colts in the final of the Balanced Image.
On the inside, it's TCI, and on the outside, Highland Kismet. And
yeah, it was pretty exciting. We got the trip we probably figured we were going to do. The weather wasn't very cooperative, but yeah, coming off turn for home, I was hoping that he had some left, and he did. He fought off TCI, and for a few steps there, I thought everybody in Ontario thought that we had the handle. It was close, but very proud of the horse. Bob gave him a great drive. We were very happy. Grassroots tracks are very important to develop trainers, drivers, horses in general, and I think you got to take a stepping stone. It's like hockey, you've got to start off at different levels and work your way up. And the more experience you get, the better horses you get, the more exposure you get. So yeah, they're very important. Similarities, they're both good gated, and they can get around. They showed me they can get around the half. I wasn't sure because we've never been on a half till Saturday there. Both very competitive. They like to go forward. The Sound and Vision horse, he's a little more gutsy. Like he's not very big, but he gives you everything he's got every start. And the Greenie colt, he floats along and he just does what he has to do. Sound and Vision always trained down very good. That whole group, there was a group of 4 of them that trained together, and Sound and Vision always had a really good kick for home. Very competitive. he got away. I drove him in the first couple qualifiers, and he got away poorly, slow fractions. So he was sitting back, and he come big last halves. So, you know, I felt that he was worthy of throwing in the gold. So, and his first start, he drew the 10 hole, I believe, and you know, had a real big kick at the end, and so I was quite pleased with him. Shutter Green couldn't handle the shadows at Mohawk. So we had to end up putting a great big O'Brien shadow roll on him, and we've left it on. I was going to take it off, and Bobby said no, so he goes with it. That's fine. So we actually intended to race him in the first gold, but we didn't get qualified in time. So he went to the grassroots, finished second, and has developed from there. Both colts drew okay. I don't mind. Bobby didn't like the rail with Sound of Vision, so I'm assuming that's why he took the other one. But they both drew well, and you know, if they go into the race feeling good stuff, I expect a pretty good show of them. They both show speed, and they can do it either way. Both of them, you know, they can go to the front or they can come from off the pace. So I'm not overly worried. Just hope there's not too much traffic in the first turn. Yeah, I know the colt as good as anybody. Bob took the other colt, and you know, I wasn't expecting anybody from this driving colony here to go up and drive them. Because it's in we're only going for 40, and there's a big night at Mohawk. With more than two stakes there. There's lots of driving opportunities for them. So I assumed those guys wouldn't come up. So I still know how to drive. It's okay.
You heard it from himself. He still knows how to drive, just Mark Etzel, and maybe he'll get to the winner's circle. He's got 2 chances, and of course, as he mentioned, he'll be driving his rail starter to the balanced image, that being Sound and Vision, while Shutter Green will go from post 5 with Bob McClure. We'll keep our eyes on some records here today that could potentially fall, and it was McClure and Etzel teaming up for a stakes and track record back in 2021 with Seacan 159. There's a look at the Canadian record for a 2-year-old colt in gelding Forbidden Trade, who Bob McClure drove, the Hambletonian winner, 156 in a 4. But I'll ask you this, Tony, 159. Can we get close to that here today?
I think both of Etzel's colts in here seem to have the ability to go that. I think the track is setting up that way. The last race is obviously just a 1/5 of a second off the mare's track record. So I think the track's setting up the way it should. It's just whether the fractions support that or not.
Something to keep our eye on when we do get to the balanced image. Right now, let's go back to the paddock and once again rejoin Greg Blanchard.
Thank you, guys. I'm in front of the governor. He'll be the post 3 starter today in the balanced image. Looks very calm and composed. Felix Marion is the owner of this guy, and as Felix is just getting him geared up and ready to go, I want to ask you about the background on this guy. This is a homebred, right?
It's a homebred. We bought the mare in Lexington, and we had it with Anthony McDonald with the stable.ca. I was a majority owner. And when she retired, I kept her, thinking she'd be a good brood mare. So we bred her to Muscle Mass, and here it is.
And has this guy been, a pleasant surprise, or has he been a surprise to this point?
He's exactly what his mother was, just professional, does his job, good attitude. He's just exactly what I was planning on having.
Could you have been any happier with his elimination win?
No. He showed some ability of the gate. He showed some, he did everything perfect.
Now, a bit of background on yourself. You're a blacksmith by trade?
By trade, and that's my fun. That's, you can't, the horse bug, you can just not have it, so.
Yeah. And obviously, we look at him here, just a pro, kind of the type that's hard not to maybe get a little attached to.
Exactly. My daughter's been working with him all summer. She deserves a lot of credit for him all summer since school stopped. She's, that's her little favorite. So, he's like I said, there's really not much not to like about him.
And for a 2-year-old, one final question. I mean, how important is it to see this kind of body language, a horse that's this relaxed and composed?
It's very important. He ships well, he stands in a paddock like an old horse. That way there, that's where you could lose a race. If a horse, 2-year-old, is not acting like this. So definitely it's a plus, for sure.
Well, appreciate you taking a few minutes. Good luck with
Thank
him.
you.
Felix Marion and his daughter, and the governor. Olivia. They're excited about the balanced image, our main event coming up later this afternoon.
All right, thank you very much, Greg. Nice to catch up with Felix Marion, Blacksmith to the Stars, and he's going to be sending out the governor, a winner of one of the eliminations last week over a very sloppy going. They went 2:04-3. That was the maiden-breaking score for the governor. One to keep an eye on when we do get to our feature event. But coming up next, race number 7, overnight contest, going for a purse of $4,400. We're on the pace here. The rail starter, number 1, Whistle Shooter, is your current 6-5 favorite. Non-winner is a $2,500 lifetime here, so whole group just trying to get to the winner's circle. Does the race go through the one, Tony?
I think it does. It's a new acquisition for Triple S Equine. Pam Forgy picks this 4-year-old mare up. She's had some tough luck, obviously 0-12 last year, and looking to make her first start this year. And I think it goes to her. She qualified good here at Hanover, 2 minutes and 3/5. I think that's playing to get the job done here. And I think 6-5 might be a little high, but you never know what's going to go on in a maiden race like this.
The number 2 is out, so we're scratched down to a field of 7. The number 8, Doc's Love, is one I'll be curious to see how this one races. This is a daughter of He's Watching, a 2-year-old daughter of He's Watching, homebred for Dr. Andrew Roberts of Lexington, Kentucky. Jody Cullen trains, Ryan DeRoche will drive. So it is the first lifetime start here after a pair of qualifiers. The qualifiers weren't much to write home about. I'm not sure what to expect here, but the Cullen name, you got to put a little weight behind that one.
Yeah, I think they're coming here just to look for a confidence booster for this 2-year-old filly. She's draw is tough here. Obviously, the trailing spot's not the easiest spot for a 2-year-old filly, but like you mentioned, the Cullen barn certainly comes prepared and has them ready to race, and I should expect a good effort. It's just whether she's able to do that here or in her second pair mutual start.
I mean, that's a 2-year-old filly, and she's going up against the current favorite, who's a 4-year-old mare. The second choice is a 3-year-old gelding. We've got a mixed bag here. That's number 3, State One Smiley. Pat Houdon will drive. Second career start for this gelded son of State Treasure. First time around, went a pretty good mile, 57 flat over Grand River Raceway, which is obviously now a 5/8 this year. So going to be the first time on a half here today, and is taking some betting support.
Yeah, deservedly so. Obviously showed some ability in its first lifetime start, and 57 over the 5/8 is good, and I think should be good here. Shows 28-second quarters, and that's certainly enough here.
I mean, I look at this group of horses. Again, there's some inexperienced horses. There's some who just haven't been able to get to the winner's circle, like the 5 Renegade Beach, who has made 18 career starts, has yet to taste victory. You like to think it's just a matter of time, and maybe that is here today, because with so many horses that have never won here before, you never know how they're going to play out.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right there. And just gaining experience certainly helps, and that's something what some of these in the group have is experience, and that all adds up at some point, and it wouldn't be a big shock here. And you're getting 16-1, and some appear to be camera shy, but this one might not be today.
Well, you know who's not camera shy? That is you, Tony, and we'll come back up on camera after this race, because right now it's time to turn things back over to the track announcer, Rick Ryer, as he has the call of race number 7.
Ryan DeRoche. Field of 7, 7th race, non-winners at $2,500 life. They'll go for $4,400 post-time, race 7. Seventh race, into the stretch, and here they come. They're up and pacing. State One Smiley, Whistle Shooter. Leaving out, crossing over from 3rd, that is Better Than Awesome. Renegade Beach will settle in early from 4th around that first turn. Doc's Love driving on the outside from 5th. Early in 6th, Dark Side of Wicked and Side Bet in 7th. But Ryan DeRoche, Doc's Love steps up, and now Paddle let out a notch. State One Smiley is going to take him. State One Smiley sprinting back out to the lead. Opening quarter in 29-4. Doc's Love will pocket up now from 2nd. Whistle Shooter looks at it from 3rd at 1-9. Better Than Awesome continues 4th. Off that turn 5th, Renegade Beach. Then Dark Side of Wicked and Side Bet. Over towards the half. Up front, Pat Houdon. State One Smiley. Here comes Whistle Shooter. Quickly stepping to the outside from 3rd by the half in 1 minute and 4/5. State One Smiley. Whistle Shooter alongside from 2nd. Doc's Love in the pocket, third. Out and on the move with cover. Better Than Awesome is fourth. Renegade Beach, fifth. Dark Side of Wicked and Side Bet, they race by 3/4. State 1 Smiley. Whistle Shooter by 3/4 in 1:29 and 4. 29 flat, third quarter. State 1 Smiley has been on a mission. Whistle Shooter drops back down second. Doc's Love third. In between them, Ruit's Better Than Awesome fourth. 3 wide comes Dark Side of Wicked, but State 1 Smiley turns him into the lane. Whistle Shooter giving chase and Doc's Love, but State 1 Smiley, Pat Hoot on the best in the 7th. Close for place, looked like Whistle Shooter over Doc's Love, 2 minutes, 2/5.
So it was the second time starter, number 3, State 1 Smiley, Pat Houdon driving for owner-trainer Brian Schufelt. And just kind of a take-no-prisoners approach early in this one. Went out to the lead, got off the wings beautifully. Saw Doc's Love coming up at this one at the quarter pole, and Pat Houdon wasn't going to be in a giving mood, and that was the right call as this one goes on to the victory.
Yeah, Pat seemed to know what he had, and he certainly drove him like he was much the best, and it certainly was the case here today.
He wins this race in the time of 2 minutes and 2/5, 30-3 home. A bit of a breeze they were facing coming down the lane. Doc's Love, not a bad effort, was on the outside. Don't think that one was able to get by the one Whistle Shooter. You can see that one chased at the rail, held on for a second, but they were kind of the 3 horses we were all over, and as was the betting public for the most part. But you noticed something as when this race went off, 1-9 on the number 1 Whistle Shooter. So I was a little surprised that low. Obviously, somebody felt pretty good throwing down a ticket and doesn't feel too good right now.
No, I certainly, if I bet this mare down to 1-9, I'd be a little upset right now. But I suspected before the race when she was at 6-5 that she was going to take a little bit more money, and I think it's just the connections and Jay Harris obviously from the rail on a half-mile track, and Triple S Equine, Pam Forgey's batting 378 this year. So there was a lot of things were clicking, and it certainly wasn't a bad effort, but it certainly wasn't enough to get the job done against State 1 Smiley today.
Well, in a field of 7 where no one had a victory to their name, I get a little hesitant, like I mentioned, on the horses that have raced several times, if not more, and never got to the winner's circle. Whistle Shooter was 0 for 12 last year, now 0 for 1 this year, but State 1 Smiley just had one start under his belt, and it was a pretty even, I thought, good effort over Grand River Raceway, and maybe the connections just thought this is the spot to come here to get into the winner's circle, and that's exactly what does happen. So Pat Houdon, who primarily just drives his own stock at this point in his career, with the catch-driving victory for Brian Schufelt of Kincardine, and they'll be smiling in the winner's circle here as this 3-year-old gelded son of State Treasurer, State 1 Smiley, is victorious in today's 7th race. We'll take a look at the prices in just a couple of moments once this race does go official, but there is Pat. And you want to talk about somebody who loves to smile. Pat Houdon, I'm pretty sure every time he wins a race at Woodbine Mohawk Park, track photographer there, Clive Cohen, usually gets an awesome shot of Pat, just with this big grin from ear to ear on his face. If anybody likes winning more than Pat Houdon, I'd like to meet them because he absolutely loves it.
Yeah, and I think it's contagious too. Like, if you ever met Pat, he's one of the best human beings you'll meet, and when you see him smile in those photos, it just makes you smile, and I think that's just great.
So much positive energy here today, Tony. There's a look at the prices from race number 7, $880, $230, $210 on the 3, State 1 Smiley, $2 exacta, $27.50. And look at the rest of the payouts there, including that dollar super that paid $105.95. So race number 7 in the books. Race number 8 is coming up next, and we continue to put the focus on today's main event, the Balanced Image. When we come back, you're watching Cosa-Tv.
For over 25 years, Tara Hill Stud has worked with partners to help produce champion stallions. We are proud to have bred great racehorses like Fade Out, Shower Play, Precious Delight, and There's a Demon in Me. Our stallions, past and present, have had tremendous success while making a huge impact on racing across North America. Mr. Levesque, Mach 3, Cadabra, Muscle Mass, and Precious Bunny, to name a few. Our stallions' progeny have won major events, including the Hambletonian. Tara Hill Stud are currently standing 9 of the industry's top stallions. Alarm Detector, Control the Moment, Dance and Lou, Flanagan Memory, Green Manalishi, He's Watching, Muscle Mass, Resolve, and Sports Writing. Our facility is modern, our staff knowledgeable. Consider Terra Hills Stud when choosing a home for your stallion. Terra Hills Stud, where champions stand and champion yearlings are raised. Log on to terrahills.com.
Winback Farm of Canada's now home to Meadowlands Pace champion Beach Glass.
Beach Glass wins the Cane Pace. Beach Glass.
Today it's Beach Glass.
And Beach Glass is going to get there. Beach Glass in front.
Beach Glass. The beach is back. Beach Glass.
New to Winback Farm of Canada in 2024. For more information, visit winbackfarm.com.
Stride with three-finger pour, bottom turn, Stonebridge Zeus, Seacan is sticking his nose in front, Sir Valley Keel third, rolling in Clover fourth, top of the stretch, Seacan, McClure takes over, Seacan, Stonebridge Zeus second, Sir Valley Keel third, Seacan, Bob McClure balanced in his final winner, mile time 1:59 flat, and that is
Welcome back to Cosa-Tv. That was a look at Seacan with that track and stakes record time of 1:59, winning the balanced image. Bob McClure was in the bike, and while we were in commercial break, Bob McClure, he's got quite the arm on him. He's out here throwing T-shirts to the crowd. Even got one all the way up to our setup here. But what was more impressive, the toss or the catch, Tony?
I thought it was one of the most athletic performances I've ever seen. The throw was on point. I thought you were going to fall over the railing here trying to make the catch, but job was well done on both sides of the throw and the catch.
Pretty impressive catch. You can catch that every Tuesday night with the Cujo Cubs. All right, race number 8 is coming up next. Another overnight contest. There's a look at the field of 7 that is going to line up. Again, we got condition pacers, non-winners of 8,000 lifetime. We'll dive in more on this field in just a couple of moments. But as we continue to get ready for the balanced image, we talked about Mark Etzel's pair that he's going to send out in Sound and Vision and Shutter Green. We heard from Todd Ratchford. He drives number 4, First Class Rule. We also heard from Felix Marion, the owner of number 3, The Governor. I look at the field for this year's balanced image, and I think there's several that are win candidates in here. To me, they're all pretty much from post 1 through post position number 5. What I found intriguing, though, Tony, I wanted to get your thoughts on it, was Mark Etzel talked about the fact that he thought Bob McClure didn't think the rail was actually a really good spot for Sound and Vision. Typically, you'd think, though, the rail on a half-mile track, you can't beat it.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on the track, but I think here at Hanover, it's sometimes tough with young chargers to bring them into position. They're trying to time it, they're trying to get them away, just like any other position. But specifically along the rail, they can get a little kind of doubled up when they're trying to get out of there in good position. So it's a very, very fair point by Bob, and Mark Etzel certainly can get him around. Like you mentioned, he can certainly still drive, and I think his steady hands will certainly be welcomed by the rail starter.
You've watched a lot of races here at Hanover Raceway. One thing that always stands out to me with these afternoon cards is the shadow in the first turn, that big tree, and you see it there, and you wonder about some young horses if they maybe shy away. Of course, good news for these horses in the balanced image they raced here last week. Bad news, I don't think there was a whole lot of sun when they were racing, as it was a wet and rainy day here at Hanover. Much better conditions today, so something to keep an eye on, I think, will be that first turn.
Yeah, and especially with young chargers, there's a lot that they're factoring into. Like especially from the drivers, they're looking at everything and making sure that their horses are comfortable. And a lot of the drivers will score them out into that first turn just to make sure they get through the shadow and they get through the first turn okay. And I think that is a lot for their confidence and certainly makes the drivers more confident when they're handling them in the first turn.
All right, well, we'll talk more about the balanced image in just a little bit. We'll also go back to the paddock in a little bit as well and catch up with Greg Blanchard. He's the man on the ground, so to speak, here today, typically on the desk, but hanging out in the backstretch. It's always fun to get back there and catch up with everybody. Obviously, you can see everyone's got a job to do, but usually some pretty good energy on a day like today. And right now we're watching the Pacers come onto the track for race number 8. We're currently about 5 minutes away from post time for this one. A field of 7 that is going to line up, and we talk about horses that have very few wins in this group. Again, not a whole lot of win success for these horses, but some have been to the winner's circle, and that's something you definitely are going to keep an eye on. So we'll take a look at the post parade for today's 8th race, and we'll kick things off with number 1, Red Trans Am, who is a 3-year-old daughter of Better Than Cheddar, trained by Lori LePage, driven by Ryan DeRoche, winless in 5 tries this year after getting 1 win in 6 tries as a 2-year-old, taking a mark of 2:02-2 over the raceway at Western Fair District. Number 2 is Asher's Basher, 3-year-old gelded son of Better's Delight, trained by Derek Anderson. Anthony Hahn drives, 1 win from 13 tries in 2024, didn't race as a 2-year-old last year, has 4 top 3 finishes. The number 3 is Psychopath, Stag Party 3-year-old gelding, also trained by Derek Anderson. He goes to Jay Harris to drive this one for the 2nd consecutive time, and they teamed up last weekend to win at Clinton Raceway in 1:59. It was the 2nd win of the year for Psychopath. Number 4 is Jim's Son. Todd Ratchford will drive for trainer Jason Sherman. Here's a horse with 12 starts this year, 3 wins, 5 seconds, mark of 2 minutes and a 5th right here at Hanover Raceway. So 8 top 2 finishes, something to keep in mind here for the 4, Jim's Son. Number 5 is Little Reese's Pieces. Jason Ryan drives, as this is a 4-year-old mare who is a 2-time winner this year after 3 wins last year. We'll see if she can get win number 6. She's got a mark of 1:56-2. Number 6 is Queen of the Deck. Lauren House drives for trainer Scott McNiven, a winner going back much earlier in the season. 1 for 24 this year, but how about 7 third-place finishes to her credit this season? And number 7 is Big Harry Matthews. Terry Gallant trains. Trevor Henry will drive from the outside starting spot. This 3-year-old gelding is in search of his first win of the year. He had 1 win in 12 tries last year as a 2-year-old. So that's the field for race number 8. Who's catching your eye here, Tony?
I think the 5's catching my eye, but just seeing it out on the track, it certainly was moving well. The 4-year-old mare here with Jason Ryan in the bike. This is an interesting class here because you got non-winners of 8,000 life, but you also have 8 claimers for non-winners of 25,000 life. So it's an interesting mix and adds to the competitiveness of the field. So I think just the experience of this horse and has won 5 times the last 2 years, like you mentioned. There's not a lot of wins in the field, but she certainly comes in with a few and certainly likes to get in the race early. And it's just whether she finishes her mile stronger or not.
All right, well, race number 8 is coming up in just a couple of moments, but race number 9 is the Walker Memorial Invitational Trot. That'll be a good showdown as we watch some older trotters square off, and a horse that is very familiar to events like this is the number 5, Heavy Duty, and the trainer of that 6-year-old is standing by with Greg Blanchard.
Out here with Heavy Duty, the former Horse of the Year at the Raceway at Western Fair District. He's really been a great half-mile horse for you in that. Just tell us the background on him, how you first got him, and what kind of horse he's been for you.
Actually, it is a pretty cool story how I got him. I bred him. His mother was Mark LeVay's Linda, and I got her from an Amish guy after her racing career was done. And the man that bred her was the first one that I ever got my groom's license with, Frank McDonald, back when I was 10 years old. So that was kind of cool. And today, actually, dude's got a couple braids in that are Frank's braids, like ribbon kind of thing. So I saw them today. I pulled them out and put them in them.
Well, he's a bit of a pet for sure, but he's a pretty darn nice racehorse as well. What's been his best attribute?
He just tries every week. As long as he's feeling good, which generally speaking, he's feeling pretty great. He tries every week. He's always in the hunt looking for a spot to be, and he's really easy to have around. I've got a 3-year-old boy that I can throw up on his back, and he just sits there and really nice, enjoyable horse to be around.
And you're hoping to continue the family tradition, right? You've got a younger sibling to him?
Yeah, we've got a Trixton filly yearling. She'll be in this fall to break, and the mare's actually in foal again this year too. 3-year-old trotter, Ontario sired, my retirement dream.
And the last question everybody's dying to know, you always wear the distinctive bright orange outfits. You've got them decked out in the bright orange. What's the story behind the orange colors?
That's exactly where it came from. As I mentioned earlier, Frank McDonald, he was always proud to wear those colors with his family. That's who I got into it with, and long live yellow and orange.
Perfect. Good luck with them again today.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's Heavy Duty. He's been a half-mile terror all season long, and one of the horses we'll see in the Walker Memorial Trot, race number 9, just ahead of that balanced image.
Definitely going to be a major player as Heavy Duty in race 9. Great to catch up with Natalie Elliott. Great job there, Greg. We'll wish them the best of luck. as we'll get to that race after this one coming up. And this is race number 8. Once again, an overnight contest for a purse of $4,500. We are on the pace. 6-5 favorite is number 4, Jimson, who I mentioned during the post parade. 3 wins this year, 5 runner-up finishes. Probably has the most decorated resume of any of the horses in this field, at least this season. Does the 3-year-old gelding get his 4th win here today?
It seems like its racing style is off the pace, and I don't know if that's going to be replicated here today, but just based on its racing style, I'd prefer someone with a little more front-end speed, but I wouldn't be shocked to see him get the job done, but I would go elsewhere as far as early speed.
All right, well, that's interesting take there, Tony. All right, we got the horses, 7 of them lining up. That's the field coming up for the Walker Trot. Well, we might get the other one up on the screen. We'll see here, but do you got to pick? Give us somebody.
I'm going to go with the number 5 here. I think the price is right at 5-1.
All right. We'll see if number 5, little Reese's Pieces, can come through, and maybe you can buy some Reese's Pieces with your winnings. We're set to go for race number 8. Pacers are lining up once again to the top of the grandstand. Here's Rick Ryer.
$4,500. It's post time. Race 8 into the stretch, and here they come. They're up and pacing. Asher's Basher is leaving out along the rail. Red Trans Am. Psychopath into that top 3. Red Trans Am and made a break briefly there. Caused a little confusion to the back. That'll leave Anthony Hahn and Asher's Basher up front. Psychopath in the 2-hole, and he now tips out. Going to that opening quarter, he wants the front, Jay Harris, and Psychopath. Asher's Basher looks at it now in second. A gap of 3 or so from 4th. So by that opening quarter, in 28 2/5 is Jimson. Red Trans Am from 5th. Little Reese's Pieces, Big Harry Matthews, and the trailer, Queen of the Deck. And make their way off the turn over towards the half. Psychopath up front. Asher's Basher in the 2-hole. Jimson looks at it from 3rd. Red Trans Am 4th. Stepping to the outside, 5th. Little Reese's Pieces half in 59-1. Second over, that's Big Harry Matthews. And Queen of the Deck is there now in 7th. But Psychopath will lead him into the backstretch. Down towards 3/4. Asher's Basher gapped from 2nd. Advancing in the outside from 3rd. That is Little Reese's Pieces. Jimson 4th. Big Harry Matthews 5th. Widest of all. Queen of the Deck now 3 wide. 3/4. 129-3. Far turn for Psychopath. Coming back on Asher's Basher. Little Reese's Pieces stalled there from 3rd, out wide. Queen of the Deck 4th. May turn down the lane. Psychopath try to close it out. Asher's Basher coming. Queen of the Deck. Psychopath. Asher's Basher up the inside. Jimson and Psychopath. They hit the line together. 2 minutes. 2/5.
Final time of 2 minutes and 2/5. It looks like it was Psychopath holding on for the victory, going back-to-back after a win last Sunday at Clinton Raceway. Now a win here this afternoon at Hanover Raceway, digging in for the 3rd win of the season here. But a good contest there. Nice little tilt between these horses.
Yeah, it's a great finish there, and Jimson just got up along the inside there, and it looked like
All right, just a little technical difficulty there. I think we've got Tony's mic back up now, but I was just saying, Tony, pretty good contest there. Nice, exciting finish, but it is Psychopath who holds on.
Yeah, it was a great race, and it's certainly been a lot of great races this afternoon, and as long as I have my mic on, we should be good to go.
All right, well, you were mentioning Jimson was trying to get up the rail here and made things very interesting. It's just tough. This is a track that is very front-end favoring, and you saw it right here. You just run out of racetrack.
Yeah, it was very, very tight. It appeared to hold on.
That's a lot closer than I thought, actually, and I'm not sure exactly where that camera, if it's stationed right on the wire or maybe just past the wire. I didn't think it was that close, but Jimson got up the rail and won. So how about that? We were wrong. We thought Psychopath held on, but no, it was Jimson. We obviously have the best camera set up here at Hanover Raceway today, because we had one right on the wire, and it shows you right there. So up the rail, Jim's son got the victory. How about that?
Yeah, I thought the three held on too, but I guess the wire was not where we thought it was.
Well, everything I was just saying, you could probably throw out the window, running out of real estate, not having enough room. There obviously wasn't enough room, just enough for Jim's son to get up the inside and win. Todd Ratchford in the sulky. So Jim's son, who we were talking about before the race, had 8 top 2 finishes from 12 starts this season. Now make that 9 for 13 in the top 2, and a 4-time winner, 2 minutes and 2/5, just a 5th off of this one's life best of 2 minutes and a 5th. And you talked about how the racing strategy of this one has been from off the pace. Had to change it up a bit here today, but showed some nice versatility as got up the rail. Tried to hustle out of there, takes back, and then still has enough in the lane to scoot up the inside.
Yeah, Todd drove great, saved all the ground, and looked like he was in an impossible spot, but the rail opened up, and he was loaded. And similar, if you look down the line, it's not a big surprise to see that late kick like that. It was just the way the race shaped up. It didn't look like it was going to be the trip that was going to work here.
All right, so there you go. Jason Sherman is the owner-trainer, shares ownership with Bert Sherman, and Todd Ratchford, the winning driver. It's Jim's son in race number 8, as we'll now move on to races 9 and 10. Our main event, of course, is the 10th, the Balanced Image, but a nice co-feature is the 9th, the Walker Memorial Invitational. So we'll tee that up in just a couple of moments. Waiting for the prices. We'll give you those when we come back here on Cosa-Tv.
Sealster, a name synonymous with quality. From their picturesque farm in Lucan, Ontario, Sealster Farms has been producing champions for decades. Stars like $650,000 winner Poseidon Sealster, millionaire mares Karma and Kendall Sealster, and 2-time O'Brien Award-winning Stockade Sealster. Sealster is also the home of many of Canada's top stallions, like Sunshine Beach, All Bets Off, and world champion superstar Bulldog Hanover, the sport's all-time fastest performer. Find your next champion at Sealster Farms. For more information, visit sealsterfarms.com.
Harness Racing Update is the sport's most comprehensive and timely news source. HRU covers with news, features, photography, opinion, and analysis of racing. Also, HRU covers breeding and sales, as well as industry stories you need to know. It's all delivered by a deep, diverse, and talented team of writers and photographers. And the best news is that it's free to subscribe. Subscribe to HRU today for free at harnessracingupdate.com and see what everyone is talking about.
Busting with pride, back down 5th, 132 and 3, bottom turn, the race is Floyd, the Freaks to lose, Rough Top tested 2nd, Resolve to win, New Rule swings out 4th into the stretch, Floyd the Freak, Rough Top tested, Resolve to win, Floyd the Freak, Ed Hensley gets the job done in the Balanced Image.
Here's a look at the prices now from race number 8. Number 4, Jim's son, in the nick of time, wins it. $5.50, $3, $2.50. 3, Psychopath, $2.50, $2.10. And 2, Asher's Basher, $3.30. So those were the prices from race number 8. They're just announcing the winning 50-50 ticket right now on track. I would like to check my tickets, but I can't hear, so hopefully somebody will let me know if I was a winner. But they were going around. Healthy crowd on track today here at Hanover Raceway, so lots of money raised for a good cause. And once again, here on Cosa-Tv, we welcome you back in. Mark McKelvey and Tony Elliott taking a look at some of the comments that we're picking up on our Facebook channel right now. Big hello to Lori McLean, who is watching from Petrolia. Mike says he loves the hot dog and the fries at Hanover. I can agree with that. Had a hot dog earlier today. Delicious. Hit the spot. I know the fries are pretty famous here, too.
Yeah, it looked like the hot dog was good, and I've certainly probably eaten a couple pounds of the fries here over the years,
good.
Which wouldn't be a big surprise to some people, but
Jim Proctor's watching from Guelph. Denise Bond is tuning in from New Brunswick. And Jet Jameson is also watching along. Excited for the balanced image. Jet, that's going to go in race number 10. All right, race number 9 is coming up next. It's the Walker Memorial Invitational. And we were talking about some of the famous racing families from this area. And coming right to the straight of mind when you hear Hanover is the Walker family. And over the last several years, an opportunity to recognize that family. This is now the 49th. I say the last few years because that's when we've been covering this race, but this goes back much further than that. 49th annual Walker Memorial Trot. It's just part of the DNA here at Hanover Raceway.
Yeah, it certainly is, and as soon as you hear the Walker name in horse racing, everyone kind of like sits up in their chair like it's a well-respected family, and certainly they've done fantastic things in horse racing and for horse racing, and I think that's just great that they've been recognizing this family for such a long time.
Yeah, next year will be the 50th annual Walker Memorial Trot. This all goes back as it was started in memory of Alan Walker and his wife Viola. They had 4 children, Dean, Bob, Larry, and Paul, all got into standardbred racing. And, the Walker family has won many top trotting events over the years, whether that be the Canadian Trotting Classic, the Maple Leaf Trot, Kentucky Futurity, International Trot. There's just so much history in this family, and they'll have many members of the Walker family out in the winner's circle in just a little bit when they have the presentation for this upcoming 9th race. So it's a $10,000 purse for this invite trot event, and it is a full field of 8 that will line up, and plenty of horses that are familiar with success on some of the smaller tracks here in Ontario. One of them is the outside starter, number 7, the Great Reset, who has taken a little bit of money, 2-1, with 7-1 on the morning line. Earlier this year, the Great Reset set a track record in London.
Yeah, he certainly shows a lot of speed, and he certainly did in that mile in London, 1:55 and 3. It's a fairly tight half-mile track, and to get around there in 55 and 3. And the biggest thing is the track you can get around it, no problem. It's just the problem is that when they race, it's not exactly that warm out. And so to do it when he did was certainly impressive, and it's in a tough spot here from position 7, but just so you can see from his last few lines here, he can do it any which way, and it just shows the versatility of this 4-year-old gelding.
Lots of horses we could talk about in this race. Josh Kaufman is giving a big shout out to Malone, cheering that one on. Of course, he is one of the owners of that 5-year-old gelding, and right now is sitting as one of the long shots on the board, but was 4-1 on the morning line. And actually, I think while we're still in the early stages, this one will come down in price and could be a big factor in this race. But right now, the 3-2 favorite is the 8 Cadillac from the second tier. Trevor Henry is driving for Shane Barrington, a winner 2 back at Grand River Raceway, winning by 8 lengths in a time of 1:54 and 3. Just a blowout score on that day, and it will be a major factor here.
Yeah, and as soon as you get Trevor Henry in the bike, you're going to take some money, obviously shifting down to 3-2 favor on the board currently. And Trevor just, he seems to play a different game than most when he comes to Hanover Raceway. He's playing chess when some may be playing checkers, but he just had a lot of history here being a multiple winning driver on the surface. So he just flicks the switch when he gets here, and certainly does it at Woodbine Mohawk Park, but it just seems like when he gets back to the half-mile track, he just settles in like he's at home.
I'm a big fan of Connect 4. I don't know what your favorite board game is. Chess was probably a little too complicated for me. All right, race number 9, the Walker Memorial Invitational Trot. There is the bugle, the call to the post as the horses are coming out onto the track. Let's now meet the field. Number 1 is Charmbo Prince, a 7-year-old gelding trained by Pam Forgey, who shares ownership with David Wilkinson. Jay Harris will drive. 4 wins this season, 21 for the career, a mark of 155 and 2. The number 2 is Spun from Magic, a 7-year-old son of Cadabra owned by Colonel Schneider Jr., trained by Cassidy Schneider. Nat Day will drive. 7 wins this season, 5 last year, 20-time winner for the career for this 7-year-old who has a mark of 155 flat, over $143,000 in earnings. For number 2, there is Spun from Magic. Number 3 is Take a Peek at Me. Todd Ratchford will drive for Jason Sherman and Betty Sherman, so we'll see if they can come back here in the 9th. This one was scratched last time at Woodbine Mohawk Park, was trying to go into that start on back-to-back victories. So can this one make it 3 in a row? 5 wins this season from 24 tries for the 5-year-old gelding. Number 4 is Malone, also a 5-year-old gelding. trained by Mark Goddard. Josh Kaufman, Howard Kaufman are the owners. Jason Ryan will drive. Winless in 21 tries this year, so it's been a while between victories and trips to the winner's circle. Today would be a great time to get off the schneid for number 4, Malone. Number 5 is Heavy Duty. We heard from owner-trainer Natalie Elliott. This one means so much to her. She is one of the breeders as well. Ryan DeRoche will drive. 25 career victories, $191,000 earned for that 6-year-old gelding. Number 6 is Delgado. Pollock Racing owns. Bob Young trains. His son Scott Young is in the sulky. 5 wins this season. Has 11 top 3 finishes. A mark of 155 taken this year at Grand River. Lifetime best is 153-3. Looking for career win number 12. 7, The Great Reset. A track record holder at Western Fair. 4-year-old gelding. Lauren House shares ownership. He is also the trainer driver. 6 wins this year. 12 for the career. And has that mark of 155-3. And then we round things out with number 8. That is Cadillac. 5-year-old gelding. Trevor Henry in the bike for trainer Shane Barrington. 5 wins from 25 starts this year. A mark of 154-3 taken at Grand River Raceway. So there's your field of 8 for the Walker Memorial Invitational Trot. Want to send things over to you, Tony. Let's take a look. You tell us where we want to head here. Who's the first horse you'd like to touch on?
I think it's a wide open field. I have a favoritism towards Charmbo Prince. You're getting 9-1 on him. He loves the half-mile tracks. He does well at Woodbine Mohawk Park, but he does his best work on the half mile. Obviously, winning the Vic Hayter Trot at Clinton Raceway. He's won it a couple times. The mile 158 over Clinton is certainly comparable to here, and I think that's going to be enough to get the job done. He seems to do it either which way, and I think he might be able to do that here this afternoon. And you're getting 5-1. I think that's great value on this horse.
Number 2, Spun for Magic, right now slight favorite at 5-2. Is coming in on a 3-race win streak. 7 wins for the season. 20-time winner is this veteran son of Cadabra, Cassidy Schneider, a former leading trainer here at Hanover Raceway. Natasha Day will do the driving. She has not been driving this 7-year-old in recent starts. It's been Lauren House. It's also been Travis Henry. So Nat Day getting a real live drive here today.
Yeah, she certainly is, and she does a great job here at the small tracks, and obviously the leading driver at Clinton Raceway a couple years back. So she certainly does her great work here at the small tracks, and it picks up a live one, like you mentioned, is currently the favorite on the board.
We just saw Delgado on the screen a moment ago for Bob Young, the trainer. Driver is Scott Young, owned by Pollock Racing. Here's one that they developed, a youngster that they raced back in 2021 as a 2-year-old and had some pretty good success. This was one that competed in some Grand Circuit events, placing in some of those contests, was a winner of the Millard Farms opening leg, and then was purchased by Pollock Racing and went south of the border back in 2022 to race for trainer Jeff Cullifer. And ultimately, the owners decided, let's send this one back north and go back to the original trainer. Has now been back in the care of trainer Bob Young since last fall, and this year they've been to the winner's circle 5 times, 11 top 3 finishes. Been a good partnership, coming up on $40,000 in seasonal earnings, and is one that I think is a serious threat in here, currently at 3-1. All right, let's take a look now at the 4, Malone. We talked about that one as owner Josh Kaufman is tuning in, taking a little money now, coming down. Was 99-1 at one point, 35-1. Just been a long time between victories for this guy, and that definitely weighs on you at times. But I think this horse is competitive in here. Has raced some of these rivals. Cadillac was the one that it was third to 2 starts back, who goes from post 8.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't deserve the price of 42-1 right now. Obviously, the 0 for 21 this year it certainly has people looking elsewhere right now, but has shown to have the efforts that would be competitive in here. It's just whether it has the luck in the trip and obviously the other racing factors out to get into the race. But I certainly wouldn't write it off, and especially position 4, there's quite a bit of money going to the 6, 7, and 8 in here, and those aren't easy spots. And I think if he can get into the race and work at a trip, he could be awfully close. And obviously use this horse in the exotics, because adding a 45-1 shot anywhere on your ticket is certainly going to help your payout.
Can't get much better of a betting board than what we're seeing right now. 7-2 on numbers 1 and 2, 3-1 on the 6, 5-2 on the 7, 7-2 on the 8. Nobody can make up their mind. Can you?
No, I'm not really sure where to go in here, Mark. Like I mentioned, I like the 1 and at 5-1, but it's starting to drop down in price here to 7-2, which isn't too bad, but I'd like a little bit higher for if I was going to make a bet.
I think in this race I'll stick with number 6, Delgado. I just talked about that guy having some pretty good success this season and has some familiarity racing on the half in the past. This year it's been mostly some 5/8s with Grand River having had that recent track expansion, but I'll take the 6, Delgado, here in race number 9, the Walker Memorial Invitational Trot. A field of 8 getting set to line up in just a couple of moments. We've seen some pretty good times here today in some of the races. I don't know if we're going to threaten the track record in here, but we saw Gia's Surreal come up just short of the track record. You mentioned was just a 5th off earlier in the card. The aged trotting track record is 1:55.3, so it would take quite an effort to knock that off. Set back in 2013 by Travers Sealster, but you never know. With so many horses having a chance in here, I think there's going to be lots of action.
Yeah, and I think that track record might have actually been in a match race. They brought back 2 former Dream of Glory winners, and I think this horse won by 30 lengths or something, and it was just went a huge mile, and I think that's where it was from, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, there you go. Some Hanover Raceway history with Tony Elliott. Horses are lining up. It's the Walker Memorial Invitational Trot, race number 9 today from Hanover Raceway. With the call, once again, we'll rejoin Rick Ryer.
9th race, trotters into the stretch, and here they come. They're up and trotting. Charmbo Prince leaving out, spun from Magic. As well, Heavy Duty, 3 across. Into that first turn. Wanting the lead on the outside, spun from Magic, but Charmbo Prince is leaving him out there. Watching that early from 3rd, Heavy Duty. Delgado dropped in 4th, the Great Reset from 5th. Then 6th is Cadillac. Looking at it, 7th, Malone. Off stride went spun from Magic. And the trailer, Take a Peek at Me. Opening quarter, 28 seconds flat. They were trotting there. Jay Harris, Charmbo Prince. Had to work hard, but he has the lead. Heavy Duty. He'll be dangerous from the pocket, 2nd. And Delgado having a peek to the outside. First up from 3rd. They move over towards the half. The Great Reset, 2nd over. Well situated 4th. Cadillac inside with them from 5th. Then we're back to Take a Peek at Me. Spun from Magic and Malone. They're by the half. 59 seconds flat. A little breather up front for Charmbo Prince. But now Delgado has come to call on the outside 2nd. Heavy Duty right there 3rd. The Great Reset 4th. Cadillac is backed up and angled to the outside from 5th. Then 6th. Take a Peek at Me. Spun from Magic. They trot by 3/4. Charmbo Prince at that call. 1:28 and 4. Charmbo Prince on the far turn, swinging out 3 wide. The Great Reset. Heavy Duty along the rail. Cadillac also 3 wide, now 4th. They turn down the lane. Charmbo Prince, the Great Reset. Cadillac coming in the outside. Charmbo Prince. Charmbo Prince. Jay Harris hangs on. Cozy for 2nd. Looked like the Great Reset might have held off Cadillac. 1:59 and 1.
Going all the way is Charmbo Prince. Great call there, Tony Elliott. That was your top pick as Charmbo Prince wins the Walker Memorial Invite Trot in a time of 1:59 and 1 after a hot 28-second opening quarter with Spun from Magic pressing. Charmbo Prince then obviously left alone on the lead for a good chunk of the remainder of the race, but on the last turn, others were swarming in, and I really didn't think this one had anything left, but sure enough, he did.
Yeah, I mentioned before his versatility is certainly something that anybody would look for in an age horse like this. But on the front end, he seems to just swell right up, and that's what happened today. He got a nice half there, to a nice little breather, and just stepped away. And like you mentioned, he got swarmed around the final turn there. And once he hit the straightaway, he just found another gear.
Did he ever, as he gets his 5th win of the year, 22nd of his career, and with the victory, he's going to move within about $400 of $200,000 in career earnings. As Charmbo Prince, who's had many tours of the track here at Hanover Raceway over the years, comes back and is successful for Pam Forgy, who shares ownership with David Wilkinson. Pam Forgy, the winning trainer. Jay Harris in the sulky gets the victory, and they'll take that one. A real good effort to get the victory in the Walker Trot. Jay Harris has had a really good season here at Hanover. Came into today just 2 wins back of Sam Filion for leading driver, so that's going to be a good battle right down to the final day.
Yeah, it certainly will, and it tends to be that way here at Hanover, like especially in the last couple of years, and it just it's such a competitive driving colony, and like you mentioned with the afternoon post time, there's a lot of drivers that kind of that race at the B and C tracks that come to Hanover Raceway, and it's a very, very competitive group, and it's just a compliment to the racing here that there's nobody that really kind of stands away from the group, but they certainly are very, very competitive amongst the top 10 in the standings.
So Jay Harris turning Charmbo Prince now back towards the winner's circle as they'll get their picture taken, and as I mentioned, always a good afternoon here at Hanover on Walker Memorial Trot Day as the Walker family gets to have a reunion, so to speak, as there's a huge group of them out there that will be in the winner's circle for this special presentation to the winner of the Walker Trot, that being Charmbo Prince, who wins it here from the rail. Went off at odds of 7-2, so really that competitive board did not change much when we got to the horses being sent on their way. So as I mentioned, always nice that they can get all the walkers together on this afternoon. And a big group out there in the winner's circle as they're all filing in. So we'll try and get everybody into the frame at some point here. I promise you, they're just filing in there, as I mentioned. There is a good contingent out there. There is a look. And I'd have to think this is always a special day. I wonder if next year for the 50th, if they'll do something even a little extra special to celebrate the Walker family on this afternoon. So the 49th annual Walker Memorial Trot, it goes to Charmbo Prince. And a great write-up in the program today as well, just on the history of the Walker family, and some nice photos going back, showing the various members of the Walker family, even going back to Alan Walker receiving a trophy at one point in his career. So a real nice touch here on this special afternoon. And coming up next is our feature event, the Balanced Image. It'll be race number 10 on the card, and it'll be OSS eligible, I guess you can say, Ontario sired 2-year-old trotters that will be squaring off. We'll step aside. When we come back, we'll check in on the prices and get you ready for the main event as we continue live here on Cosa-Tv.
Winback Farm of Canada's home to 9 exceptional, including Beach Glass, the last great son of legendary sire of sires, Some Beach Somewhere. Also new in 2024, Lola's Shadow, an O'Brien Award winner for 2-year-old pacing colts and geldings. Double millionaire betting line, sire of 5 winners of over $400,000. Mick Wicked, the richest pacing stallion in harness racing history and Hall of Fame inductee. Trixton, sire of 6 who have earned over $500,000, including O'Brien Award winner Evident Beauty. Also standing, Archangel, Better Than Cheddar, Better's Delight, and My MVP. For more information, winbackfarm.com.
But he's back at it. Copper Eagle staying game. Eiffel Power 3 wide. Poof, 4 wide. Stonebridge Glee wants a little real estate. Top of the lane. Alexander's taken over. Eiffel Power. Poof is coming on the outside for Tom Smith. Poof. Tom Smith recovers from the break. Alexander second. Eiffel Power third. 2-0-3. And 2/5.
Memories being made here today at Hanover Raceway. A little kiss there between Jay Harris's girlfriend, Katie Graham, as they celebrate the victory with Charmbo Prince in the Walker Trot. There's a look at the prices. Number 1, Charmbo Prince pays $974.90, $350. The Great Reset, $430, $360, and 8 Cadillac was third, $3.90. $2 Exacta paid $37.80. Try, $130.20. So we're now on to our main event, Tony. It is the Balanced Image, as this will go for a purse of $45,000 and a good field of 8 that will square off. Again, the race that I think is pretty competitive here, and one of them that is going to get a lot of attention, though, and go off as favorite, will be the 5 Shutter Green, and his driver, Bob McClure, standing by with Greg Blanchard.
Thanks again, Mark. Bob, before we get to your drive today, got to ask you about the big horse Highland Kismet, who qualified yesterday morning without trotting hobbles for the first time. Safe to say it went over pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, he's trained as fast as he's raced with no hobbles, so we're pretty confident he can go without them. And one less piece of equipment, and I think it'll only speed him up a bit.
All right, let's talk about the 2 horses you're racing today. You won 2 eliminations, both with Mark Etzel pupils. You chose the 5 this week. Tell us about the decision and what went into it.
Well, I mean, he's got the 5-hole. The rail's not an easy spot, and I just think he's a better horse. You know, he didn't go as fast last week, but he did it so easy. Like, you know, the other colt, he did it easy too, but you know, from feeling them, you know, it just felt like mine was a bit stronger, a little handier, and you know, it wasn't really, didn't matter which way I went, you know, they're both about even.
You've had so much success teaming up with Mark, including this race with Seacan. He's the stakes record holder. Any comparisons with either of these colts today to him at this stage?
Seacan was just a real solid, handy horse, or like, you know, solid, nice horse, where these 2 are probably a little bit more talented, but they don't have... Seacan, even at 2, he was like, you know, a 4-year-old, you know, set the lines on the dash and go. And where these 2 probably have a little bit more talent, but maybe need a little bit more driving.
And final question, what's Hanover Raceway mean to you, Bob McClure, and your racing career?
Well, it's where I started. It's to this day my favorite track in the world. I was just talking to Doug McNair, you know. We said how nice would this day be if we didn't have to race tonight, you know. It's a great place, and it's unfortunate that tracks like this are kind of fading away because it's the atmosphere here. I definitely look forward to coming here every single time.
All right, we'll let you go pick up your drive. Good luck.
Thank you.
Bob McClure trying to win another Balanced Image final today. He'll be aboard your post-5 starter, Shutter Green. Guys?
Well, thank you, Greg. And yes, lots of confidence in Shutter Green from Bob McClure, trying to win the Balanced Image once again, teaming up with trainer Mark Etzel. Let's talk about Balanced Image. A prolific sire in this harness racing game, legendary to say the least. You see some of the stats right there. Arch Madness being his richest son or daughter. He was an incredible trotter that made over $4 million, raced in the Elite Lop a couple of times. He had some tours of Europe, so successful, and was Ontario sired. He's one of the greatest OSS graduates of all time. Of course, he's the richest OSS graduate of all time at over $4.3 million in earnings. So a nice touch to name this race the Balanced Image, and that's now going back 20 years. This is edition number 20 already of the Balanced Image, and we'll see who will add their name to the list of past winners. And speaking of past winners, we go all the way back to 2005. The first winner was I'm Classy in a time of 2:01. In most races, in most divisions in harness racing, times have, gotten quicker over the years. This is one that hasn't necessarily over the years. 2:01 was the time back in 2005. Last year, in the last 2 years, 2:02 and 2, 2:03 and 2. So here at Hanover Raceway, it's kind of the same racing year in, year out. And if this is what you love, it doesn't really change.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to point out too, is just how similar the times were all the way back in 2005, and then obviously now to 2024. And I think it's a compliment to how good the surface here is at Hanover Raceway. It's been known as one of the best surfaces in Ontario, and I think some of the speed upgrades we've been seeing in the breed have been because of the track surfaces are improving, the bank and all that stuff. But I think the track here has been good back since even 2005, and it's just a compliment of the surface here and the job that the team does.
Speaking of Balanced Image, I talk about some of the champions that he was the sire of. Billy Joe Jim Bob, Good Times, Rotation, Yankee Paco, a Hambletonian winner, Liberty Balance, she was outstanding. So, he was the king of Ontario Stallions, and it's great that we get a chance to honor him each and every year in mid to late August here at Hanover Raceway. Good shots inside the paddock there as our man Quentin is on the grounds. He's getting those shots from up nice and close of the starters in this year's Balanced Image. Once again, we do want you to leave some comments and let us know, who do you like in this year's Balanced Image trot from here at Hanover Raceway? Again, if you let us know, you're automatically entered into our draw for a Cosa-Tv prize pack after today's show is done. 4-5 right now on number 5, Shutter Green, who is the favorite. I don't think there's too much surprise when it comes to that. 3 eliminations, though, last week was a good turnout for this event.
Yeah, it certainly was, and it's normally well supported. It's like I mentioned early on in the show, it's a great stepping stone for these young trotters, and it's just a compliment to how good this race is and what it leads to in the future. And getting some gold winners in here today is just a compliment to what this race is and what it means to people. Obviously, Edsel is a Hanover racer is a little bit closer to him, so he would love to win this race again. But it's just a great race, and I think people are glad to support it.
All right, horses are working their way out onto the track for the post parade for the 2024 Balanced Image. It will be a field of 8 to go forward. And as they come out onto the track, just waiting for the call to post so we can focus in on the post parade. Again, final call for your selections in the Balanced Image. Leave them in our comments. And here we go. Outrider leading the 2-year-old trotters out onto the track for the Balanced Image, and we will kick things off with number 1, Sound and Vision, one of 3 elimination winners from last week, a 4.5 length score in 2:02 and 4 over the sloppy going. This is a son of Royalty for Life, a $23,000 yearling buyout of Harrisburg. Mark Edsel shares ownership with Terry DeVos, Peter Porter, and Denise Turner. Mark Edsel, he'll take the lines himself. He'll call his own number here today. He'll be the trainer driver, 3 for 5 this season is number 1, Sound and Vision. Next up will be number 2, Captain Suzuki. Montreal Canadiens fans know where this guy got his name from. A gelded son of Muscle Mass. He is owned by Greg McNair and Dean Lockhart. They are also the breeders, as Greg McNair is the breeder. He's the trainer. Doug McNair making the venture up here to Hanover today. He'll do the driving. Second last week in his elimination, beat just half a length. He is winless in 5 tries, has a mark of 159 and 4 in a qualifier at Mohawk, 2 runner-up finishes. Number 3 is the Governor. Owned and bred by Felix Marion, trained by Walter Whalen. Michael Whalen will drive. This is a son of Muscle Mass out of a Donato Hanover mare. 1 win in 4 tries so far, but 3 top 3 finishes. Took his elimination last week by half a length over Captain Suzuki in 2:04 and 3. Final quarter in 30 and a 5th. Number 4, First Class Rule, is also a son of Muscle Mass. Back Stable, Glengate Farms, Gaelic Stable, and Ronald Van Nieuwert are the owners. Matt Bax trains. Todd Ratchford will drive. Winless in 4 starts, has 1 runner-up finish. That was in his elimination last week to Sound and Vision. He is a son of Muscle Mass, as mentioned, and has a mark of 2:01 and 3 in a qualifier. Number 5 is Shutter Green, currently the second choice right now at 7 to 5. Green Manalishi colt from his first crop. Mark Edsel, Grant Turner, Peter Porter, and Graham Hopkins own. Mark Edsel trains. Bob McClure will drive. Won his limb by 4 lengths in 2:05 and 2. Has a mark of 157 and 2 taken at Mohawk. Number 6 is LMC Little Chips. Pat Houdon is the trainer driver. Frank Cirillo is the owner. Winless in 5 starts, 3rd in his limb last week to get into the final. You got to be in it to win it. He is a gelded son of Whelan and Dealin. Number 6, LMC Little Chips. On the outside of the gate will be number 7, TH Emmett, who is a son of Green Manalishi. $20,000 London Classic yearling sale purchase. Matt and Roy Trelford are the owners. Matt Trelford trains. Trevor Henry will drive. Was second last week in his limb to Shutter Green. 3 starts under his belt. No wins just yet. A mark of 2:04 over a sloppy track in a qualifier at Woodbine Mohawk Park. And then from the second tier, the last horse we'll meet is a gelded son of Trixton, number 8. His name is Mac the Knight, owned by Chad Hill and Kimberly Jensen. Chad Hill is the trainer. Scott Young will do the driving. Already 8 starts at this point in his career for this son of Trixton. Winless, has a 2nd and a 3rd, was 3rd last week in his limb to qualify for today's final, a $6,000 London Classic yearling sale graduate. So there is the field for race number 10, the $45,000 Balanced Image Trot for Ontario Sire 2-year-old trotters. As we've been meeting the field here, Tony, keeping an eye on the odds board, and it's been bouncing back and forth between the Mark Edsel trainees.
Yeah, it certainly has, and I think they stand out from the rest of the field here. Obviously, Bob McClure has opted to go with the 5-horse here, which I thought that was going to be a factor for the players to shift a bit of the money to the 5, but it's holding steady on the 1, and I was actually in favor of the 1 over the 5, but I certainly wasn't deciding which one I wanted to drive, so it was a lot easier for me to say that.
What about some of the others in here? I think number 2, Captain Suzuki, well, he's never won. He was second last week, a pretty good effort, second to the Governor. You've got to give the 3 to Governor some look in here as well. But for me, Doug McNair makes the trip up here today. He's got a big night of driving in Grand Circuit events tonight at Mohawk, but his lone drive today at Hanover, and he comes in, and I don't think he's just coming to, try and get a piece. He's coming here to win, and I think this is one that we'll see be a factor.
Yeah, it certainly will be, and Doug's driving style tends to be very aggressive, and I don't think it'll be any different here. He's coming up for a $44,000 final, and he certainly isn't going to go home without a good, strong effort to try to win it, obviously. But he looks like he has some ability, and he could throw a wrench into the Mark Etzel Exacta.
What about some of the long shots in here? Who's somebody that you might give some consideration to using in those exotics?
I didn't mind Mac the Knight. It has some braking issues, but 2 starts back, it showed a 58.2 mile over Woodbine Mohawk Park, which isn't anything that's going to jump off the page here, but it's a horse that looks like it can stay. If it can stay trotting, it shows some ability. But that's certainly why you're getting the price of 23 to 1 right now, and certainly expect that to drift up as the money comes in.
So 1 to 2 right now on number 1 Sound and Vision. 5 to 2 on the 5, Shutter Green. So the Mark Etzel trainees, that's the expectation that they are going to deliver. But it is a horse race. Anything can happen, and especially with 2-year-old trotters. A horse like Mac the Knight's actually already got 8 starts under his belt, but he's got some braking issues. I just try to look at some of the more consistent performers. Most of them haven't really had to run into those braking issues like he has. The others, they've been pretty well behaved.
Yeah, it certainly has been. The inside portion of the gate has a lot of stability, and I think it's going to make out to be a great race. Like we heard in the race called Poof last year, made a break early on and still came back to win, and it's certainly a tough race. And last year I think the group wasn't quite to the caliber of this group. I don't think anybody can get away with that this afternoon with making a break and coming back to win it, but it's happened in the Mohawk Million before, so it could happen here this afternoon.
It has happened before. Anything can happen, especially with these 2-year-old trotters. In our comments, I see Joanne Heath is supporting Shutter Green. Peter Little is tuning in from Belfast, Northern Ireland. Not sure what time of the day it is there, probably late in the evening now, but thanks for tuning in here on Cosa-Tv. So we're just waiting for them to get the final call to line up for race number 10, the Balanced Image. We've talked about making our picks in here. I'm going to go, maybe a little off the board. I'm going to go with the elimination winner that isn't getting as much respect. That's number 3, the Governor. Has gotten better with each start, I've thought, racing in the grassroots, and then finally got to the winner's circle in gate-to-wire fashion in his elimination. And over that sloppy going, the back half was in 1 minute and a fifth. I thought that was pretty strong. So give me the Governor, number 3, right now at 5 to 1. What is your final thoughts here, Tony?
I'm going to number 5, Shutter Green. 2 to 1 I think is a little bit of value in here. I respect the opinion that Bob has on this colt. He certainly sided with this one. He thinks it's the better of the 2, and position 5s will give him some options if you want to work a trip or go right to the front. Obviously, I think Mark Etzel will be leaving from the rail. He's not going to let that position go to waste. But like we touched on, it can be a little tricky. So I think the 5 is a great starting spot for Bob McClure and Shutter Green for trainer Mark Etzel.
Yeah, I'm a little perplexed by that as well, that he's not the favorite. Usually the driver, his handicapping speaks volumes, and right now, second choice to the stablemate, number 1, Sound and Vision. So the wings of the starting gate are open, gate is in position, and Rick Ryer is standing by with the call, the 2024 Balanced Image.
Final 1 Sound and Vision, Mark Etzel. Then Captain Suzuki, Doug McNair. The Governor, Mike Whalen. First Class Rule, Todd Ratchford. Shutter Green, Bob McClure. LMC Little Chips, Pat Houdon. T.H. Emmett, Trevor Henry, the outside, and trailer Mac the Knight, and Scott Young. Welcome to you tuning in on Cosa-Tv. 10th race, Balanced Image final, $45,000. Here they come. They're up all trotting. The Governor is leaving out with Captain Suzuki. In between them, First Class Rule from 3rd to that first turn. Crossing over, Shutter Green early. 4th, off stride goes the Governor. Mike Whalen has lost the Governor, and that leaves Doug McNair, Captain Suzuki up front. and brushing quickly to the outside. There goes Bob McClure. Shutter Green to challenge. Going to that opening panel, looking at it from third, First Class Rule. T.H. Emmett got away clean from fourth. Sound and Vision is fifth. Mac the Knight looks at it from sixth. LMC Little Chips and the Governor opening quarter trotted in 29 and 3/5. On the turn, Bob McClure. Shutter Green is up front in command of the early fractions. Captain Suzuki looks at it from second. First Class Rules trotting in third, starting to the outside. Sound and Vision. Mark Edsel underway, and things get cozy as taking out there was First Class Rule as they come to the half in a minute and 4/5 on that turn. It is Shutter Green up front. Outside now, First Class Rule. First up from second. Captain Suzuki in the pocket third. Sound and Vision second over. Now 3 wide from fourth. T.H. Emmett right there fifth. Mac Tonight sixth. LMC Little Chips. They're by 3/4. 1:31 and 1. Shutter Green has them by a length and a half. Still digging in from second. First Class Rule. Sound and Vision 3 wide. Through along the inside. Captain Suzuki. They turn down the lane. It's Shutter Green. Outside Sound and Vision. First Class Rule. Captain Suzuki. Shutter Green. Bob McClure gets it done in the balanced image. Captain Suzuki second. First Class Rule third. Mile time 2 minutes 4/5.
Well, Bob McClure knew which one he wanted. That was number 5, Shutter Green, and Shutter Green will go on to take the victory in this year's edition of the Balanced Image. Final time was 2 minutes and 4/5. Obviously, things kind of changed there in the first turn. The Governor was pressing out of there, going towards the lead. Made a miscue, makes a break in the first turn. Captain Suzuki left alone, and then you see the move to the top by Shutter Green, and it was lights out from there as Shutter Green goes on to the victory. Captain Suzuki settling for the runner-up, and basically everything that Mark Edsel told us, talking about number 1, Sound and Vision, and Bob not liking the rail for him, was pretty true. This horse just didn't get off the wings to get up close. Ended up getting away about 5th or 6th and had a little bit of extra work he had to do. Pretty wide in the final 3/8 of that mile. Good effort overall, but the stablemate Shutter Green, they knew what they were going to do here today, and it was victorious.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of surprised that this horse didn't go off as the favorite. It went off at 3-2, which isn't you're not getting the keg on the way home. You might get a McDonald's $1 ice cream, but it certainly was a surprise to me that the horse didn't go off as favorite. But certainly Bob McClure knew what he had, and he drove it that way and got some a cheap middle half, and that certainly helped him get to the winner's circle.
Yeah, getting to rate things obviously helped him, and again, the race really changed when you have number 3, the Governor, one of the elimination winners, make a break, because looks like that one, I mean, if he can get out to the lead, probably going to keep things rolling and would have made it a little more difficult for Shutter Green, who would have been then, in that case, gotten away third, but not the way it plays out. Instead, it works out beautifully here for Shutter Green as Bob McClure and his son will make the trip back around to the winner's circle as it's McClure and Edsel again in the Balanced Image. They really like this race. They love racing here, and they'll be smiling when they get back to the winner's circle after taking this year's edition. So 2 minutes and 4/5 was the time. We talked about the times over the years in this race, how they haven't really changed from back when it was first held back in 2005, when it was a time of 2:01 flat. 2 minutes and 4/5, a little quicker, I guess, by a fifth, but much quicker than the last 2 years, which went 2:03 and 2 and 2:02 and 2. So 2 minutes 4/5 for number 5, Shutter Green. And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the impact that Green Manalishi is already making. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with, I think, over the next probably decade, if not longer, in the stallion ranks here in Ontario.
Yeah, you're certainly right. He's coming with a flourish, and Green Manalishi's just, they seem to be all trot. You can kind of do whatever you want with them, and they just don't make mistakes, and they just keep trotting, and they seem to show a lot of speed. And like you mentioned, it could be a huge stallion here in Ontario, obviously with the Cadabra passing on, unfortunately, and Green Manalishi seems to be stepping right in those big shoes.
Well, Shutter Green, already in the Ontario Sire Stakes this season, was second in a grassroots division in his career debut. They then took him up to the gold level, finished third. He raced in the mid-season challenge consolation, which went for $40,000, and that's where he broke his maiden. He was a winner in 157 and 2, and now back-to-back scores in the Balanced Image. So he's on a 3-race win streak as he'll head back towards, I would think, OSS action, but there's a big 2-year-old trot tonight, the William Wellwood for the 2-year-old trot in Colton Gelling, so he wasn't in that. There still is the Champlain Stakes coming up, so that could maybe be on the radar. He's going to be a player. This isn't a grassroots trotter by any stretch of the imagination. He's gold level, and he's going to press on and probably make many more dollars before this season is done, and could get his way into the super final by the time we get to October.
Yeah, Mark Etzel isn't afraid to start them in the grassroots level, get them some experience in the first start, and then obviously jumped up to the gold level and didn't quite make the mid-season final going for $150, but $40,000 to break your maiden was a good start, and then obviously picks up a good check here today.
So congratulations to the owners, Mark Etzel, Grant Turner, Peter Porter, and Graham Hopkins. A $50,000 Harrisburg buy was Shutter Green, and with the victory here today, now going to go over $56,000 in earnings to this point, with still much more of the 2-year-old season to go. Doesn't look like Bob McClure is going to be able to stick around for an interview, as he's got to get on the road and head back to Woodbine Mohawk Park. We'll see him there a little bit later on here tonight. Greg Blanchard was standing by in the winner's circle, so we'll see if he can grab some of the other connections, and we'll go down to him in just a couple of moments. But a big shout out to everybody that's tuned in here today for our live coverage from Hanover Raceway, our final trip up to Hanover this year, but the meet does continue on for a few more weeks, so they'll go right into mid-September, and encourage anybody, if they have the opportunity to get up here, make sure you do, because this is a great place to watch racing, a real gem in Canadian harness racing. Just waiting on the official prices here from race number 10, and you mentioned it, went off as the favorite, did Shutter Green. Yeah, and like I mentioned, I was a little surprised at that, but if I was betting Shutter Green, obviously my top pick, 3-2, I wouldn't have been disappointed with, instead of betting it at 4-5 like Sound Division went off as. All right, so not official just yet, but just a formality. I'd have to think at this point, inquiry sign was up, but likely looking at, I would have to think either the break in the first turn, or the only other thing I think of might have been number 4, First Class Rule, who finished third, maybe came out a little late just after the half when Sound and Vision was on the move. That's probably the only other thing that could be a possibility. Yeah, Todd looked like he had a handful in the hole there with First Class Rule, and he was just trying to keep him in, and he was just, I imagine he probably was a little difficult to hold. And that's what they are looking at right now. I can see it on the infield screen. We might be able to bring it to you here. Just before this, they might rewind it. Here it is. So you mentioned it, Todd, moving out of the 3 hole here. Yeah, it looks like he just was a little hot, and Bob was up from hitting the brakes a little bit, so he tried to get out, and obviously was looking for clearance, and obviously it'll be up to the judges whether there was sufficient clearance when he came out of the hole or not, but we'll leave it up to the AGCO judges to decide that. So they will make a call, and this will impact the payouts here, and obviously a chunk of the purse, how it'll be distributed, because finished third did First Class Rule, and Sound and Vision did not hit the top 4. So this is just a wait and see for how it's going to play out. If you're Mark Etzel, I wonder how you're feeling right now, actually. You're probably a little upset with how things might have played out there with Sound and Vision, but your other horse did win the race. So I guess it's a bit of a roller coaster ride, but that is harness racing. Yeah, as a catch driver, he was disappointed. As a trainer, he was thrilled. So it's kind of both sides of the coin on this one. So just waiting again to see if we'll get a call here on what will happen, if number 4 First Class Rule will stay up. And again, there doesn't look like there's much contact there, if any, so maybe that's a factor. And again, it was that the horse that is moving on the outside already, just kind of going a little wide because there was one in tight quarters. That's the one thing about harness racing that I'm always amazed by, is how close the confines can be when they're racing, and yet these guys, they're so talented out there steering these animals. It's quite impressive how in close quarters they can be at times. Yeah, and the big thing I would say, it's not feet, it's inches, and sometimes it's centimeters. And it's when there's big money up for grabs, they're not giving an inch, and that's very true in that statement. Is they're not giving anything to their opponents out there, and they're going to take everything they can. And sometimes it gets a little close, but they're willing to make that risk to try to get the big score. All right, well, big shout out to those of you that selected Shutter Green in our comments. The good news, though, if you didn't pick Shutter Green in our comments, anybody who left a comment is going to be eligible for our draw. We'll select a winner at random here in just a little bit, and then we'll contact you through social media to let you know that you've taken home our Cosa-Tv prize pack. So we're waiting for the ruling, and I hear Rick Ryer talking right now. And, well, now we stopped. I guess we continue to wait. Thought we had a ruling coming there. Still see number 4, First Class Rule, listed as the third place finisher. So maybe the inquiry sign will come down. But again, we'll just wait and see. Just dragging out a little longer, right? Still one more race to go on the card here at Hanover. We're not bringing that to you, but you can watch it on their website and through YouTube as well. And I bring this up every single time, Tony. Big fan of pizza. If you're the winning trainer in the finale, they send you home with some pie.
Yeah, the tender pizza mile. I don't know how long it's gone on for, but people get upset when people don't like racing the last race, but people get upset when they don't get with the race house, when they don't get the last race from time to time. When you have the favorite, it's the best race of the day, I think.
All right.
And reviewing the film, judges have determined no violation.
No violations.
Results
so
will
nothing's
stand
going to change there. Number 4, First Class Rule, will stay
8.
as the third place finisher in the balanced image. And the top 4 will remain intact with Shutter Green on top of that. The number 5, Shutter Green, the winner of this year's balanced image. So the prices should come up in just a moment, but we want to let you know we've got plenty more coming up on Cosa-Tv before the end of 2024. We'll take one final timeout, come back, and put a bow on this afternoon from Hanover Raceway.
By now, you know the name Cosa-Tv, an industry leader producing unique, high-quality digital content promoting harness racing in Ontario. Features, virtual programming, live events, and more. Cosa-Tv has it covered. Follow our social media channels and be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page to view the latest content. And if you're looking to bet your favorite Ontario track, check out hpibet.com. Cosa-Tv, taking Ontario racing global.
Love horse racing? hpibet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with hpibet.com.
All right, welcome back. Here's a look at the prices from race number 10, the balanced image trot. Number 5, Shutter Green, pays $5, $260, $270. 2, Captain Suzuki, $460, $4. And the 4, First Class Rule, $4.70. $2 Exacta pay $21.30. The dollar try, $65.55. And the dollar super, $511.85. So Shutter Green has won the 2024 balanced image. That's going to wrap up our day here at Hanover Raceway. A fun 5-pack of racing that we brought your way. Some older pacers, older trotters, the overnights, and then, of course, that main event, the balanced image. And we're going to bring in Greg Blanchard right now to get his final thoughts. And, Greg, Shutter Green is a horse we were talking about here on the desk that is probably going to be a player in those OSS Gold ranks going forward and was a deserving winner here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to like the Green Manalishis and what we've seen from them this season. And anytime you get trainer Mark Etzel, driver Bob McClure teaming up, you know there's a chance to see a good result, and that was the case here today. Bob opting for Shutter Green from the 2 elimination winners a week ago, and he proved to know exactly what he was doing here today. The horse handled beautifully on the half-mile oval, shown that he can handle any size track, and what a few weeks it's been for that combination. Second in the Hambo just a couple of weeks back, and winning today on home turf in the balanced image. So that's going to wrap up a really busy day here. Busy stretch coming up for the folks on Cujo Entertainment. We'll be at Woodbine Mohawk Park again next weekend with coverage of the Canadian Pacing Derby, Mark, the big event coming up 1 week from tonight, which did not require an elimination this evening. We'll have a big field of 11 coming up there. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to many great shows ahead here on Cosa-Tv.
Yes, looking forward to it, no doubt. We're at that fun part of the season. Grand Circuit Stakes galore coming up at Woodbine Mohawk Park. But here today, it was Shutter Green who took the 2024 Balanced Image at Hanover Raceway. For Tony Elliott, Greg Blanchard, Cujo Entertainment, the entire crew behind the scenes, my name is Mark McKelvey. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time on Cosa TV.